This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy today is a icon. He's 56 years old. He's known for his essence and all that. Don't worry, that's the only time I'm going to mock him. But anyway, he's Kid Dynamite, the baddest man on the planet as a boxer. One of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He was a legend in the heavyweight division from 87 to 1990. He was untouchable. He was the youngest boxer ever to win the heavyweight belt at 20 years, 4 months, 22 days old. That's amazing. 20 years, 4 months. I was headed for my second year in college when that happened. Anyway, Mike Tyson became the lineal champion, knocking out Michael Spinks, and got undone by one of the biggest upsets in boxing history in 1990 by Buster Douglas. Unfortunately, his career was just terrible and all that. He had a controversy around it. He was in prison for a while, and then he tried to be the heavyweight champion, but he had some big issues. He's ferocious and all that. He's still pretty good. His name is Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson was born in Brooklyn, all that. He had an older brother and an older sister. But anyway, Tyson's mother is described as a promiscuous woman who was a prostitute and all that. So basically, his mother was promiscuous and all that. Tyson's mom died when he was 16 years old, and he was in the care of boxing manager and trainer Cutastrophe, who was his legal guardian, all that. Anyway, it was crushing, Tyson said about his mother and all that. Tyson had a lot of issues and all that. He was caught committing petty crimes and fighting those who ridiculed his high-pitched voice and lisp. High-pitched voice? Well, people insult me for that. He was arrested 38 times by the age of 13 years old. He was in a school for boys, but his boxing ability was discovered there by a former boxer. So, anyway, it was huge and all that. Tyson tried to get to the 84 Olympics, but lost to Henry Tillman twice by decision. Tillman ended up winning the heavyweight gold medal anyway. But his rise to stardom started March 6, 1985, a month and 3 days before I was born. He beat Hector Mercedes by first-round TKO. In his first year as a professional, he had 15 fights. And he would fight frequently, like almost every month. He won 26 of his first 28 fights by knockout, and 16 in the first round. The quality of his opponents actually increased to journeyman fighters and borderline contenders like James Tillis, Jesse Ferguson, Mitch Blood Green, and Marvis Frazier, Joe's son. A lot of people said that he was the next great heavyweight. Unfortunately, Cutastrophe died in November of 1985, and they said that Tyson didn't grieve the model's death that well, and it caused many troubles he would have in his life. However, his first nationally televised fight was February 86 in Troy, New York, against Jesse Ferguson, broadcast by ABC Sports. It was just huge and all that. So anyway, Tyson would fight Marvis Frazier on ABC and took him out in 30 seconds. Amazing. Tyson was given a title fight in November 1986 against Trevor Burbick, Canadian/Jamaican. Anyway, Tyson TKO'd Burbick in the second round, which was shocking. And at 20 years, 4 months, he was the youngest champion in history. He would take down James Bonecrusher Smith and Tony Tucker to get the WBA and IBF belts alongside the WBC thing. It was amazing. He had the peekaboo style, outstanding hand speed, accuracy, and timing, and all of that. He was the undisputed champion, and it was huge and all that. Tyson came to the attention of Nintendo. Nintendo American President Minoru Arakawa saw one of Tyson's fights and was so impressed by the power and skill, he wanted Tyson to be part of the Nintendo, the NES port of the Punch-Out arcade game. So Nintendo released Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which was very well received and sold a lot of copies. It was amazing seeing my brother have a Nintendo and playing that game and all that for me trying to do that well. But I just don't have the coordination to beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So anyway, yeah, the NES version and all that. So you would play as Little Mac trying to fight the title and all that. So anyway, Mike Tyson was the real-life world heavyweight champion at the time. And that was the final boss. After Tyson's license expired, it was Mr. Dream and all that. Could end the game. And of course, Punch-Out had 14 characters. Glass Joe from France, Von Kaiser from Germany, Piston Honda from Japan, Don Flamenco from Spain, King Hippo from Hippo Island, Great Tiger from India, Bald Bull from Turkey, Soda Popinski from Russia, which I thought he was Poland, all that, from Poland. But anyway, Mr. Sandman from Philadelphia, Super Macho Man from Hollywood, and Mike Tyson. So yeah, it was pretty good. It was amazing what they did. It's weird how little Mac was 17 years old, weighing 107 pounds. But yeah, there were a lot of punch-ups and all of that. So yeah, got a lot of things. So yeah, it was amazing and all that. But back to the man of the hour, Mike Tyson. Tyson had 3 fights in 1988. He took Larry Holmes on, the legendary champion, who was one of the best 80s boxers. But he KO'd Larry Holmes in the 4th round. It was the only time Larry Holmes lost by KO. Tyson would fight Tony Tubbs in Tokyo. Not the last time he would go to Tokyo. And it was a 2nd round TKO win. Tyson would face Michael Spinks in June of 1988. Michael's brother Leon was the champion and all that. Unfortunately, Tyson knocked Spinks out in 91 seconds. The problems with Tyson started by 1988. His marriage to Robin Givens was headed for divorce. Both sides would claim badness to each other. Like Tyson would abuse Robin, and Robin's mother basically stealing money from Mike Tyson's trust fund. Anyway, Tyson decided to part with Kevin Rooney, who was a great trainer to him and all that, who helped Tyson do his craft after D'Amato's death. Don King ended up being his manager and all that, although Donald Trump tried his best, all that. So yeah, following Rooney's departure, Tyson was more of a power puncher and all that. Anyway, Tyson had a lot of problems. But by February 1990, he was still the betting favorite in Tokyo against Buster Douglas. Ironically, if you watch AWA Wrestling, you would know that Larry Zbyszko had the World Championship belt the day before, and he lost it. I don't know who beat him, but anyway, he was angry. So anyway, Tyson ended up being a 42-1 favorite, if you will. Well, Buster Douglas had 42-1 odds to win. So if you put $20 down, you got $840 back, which is pretty good. Everyone thought Tyson had to do it. Unfortunately, Tyson could not get past Douglas's quick jab. Tyson did uppercut Douglas and put him to the canvas in the 8th round, but the end of the round saved Douglas. Douglas shocked the world and all that. 35 seconds into the 10th round, he hooked Tyson down. Tyson was fumbling for his mouthpiece, and the referee counted him out. And Buster Douglas was the world champion, and Tyson was a shell of himself. Although Karma would bite Buster Douglas, as he basically thought he was invincible as the world heavyweight champion, put him like 30 pounds, and Evander Holyfield beat the tar out of him. It was shocking. Tyson just couldn't believe his luck, losing to Buster Douglas of all people. However, he recovered by KOing Henry Tillman and Alex Stewart. The win over Tillman was to get revenge off the '84 Olympic gold medalist. All that. Tyson would face Razor Ruddock from Canada in March of 1991, and they thought Ruddock could do it. However, the 7th round, unfortunately, the referee controversially stopped the fight for some reason. They met again in June of '91 in a rematch, but Tyson won by unanimous decision. So, rumors were circulating that Tyson and Holyfield would fight Caesar's Palace November 1991 in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, rib cartilage injuries were huge and Tyson pulled out of the fight. Unfortunately, Tyson also had another thing wrong with him. The rape trial of Desiree Washington, who was Miss Black Rhode Island. Tyson was a judge for Miss Black America, and, you know, he raped her and all that. Of course, further testimony happened from the emergency room physician who said that after examining Washington, she had physical condition problems with rape and all that. Unfortunately, the jury deliberated for 10 hours and was convicted Tyson of rape and all that. So, anyway. March of 1982, Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison alongside 4 years of probation. But after 3 years, he was released. There were rumors that he converted to Islam and all that. Tyson was required to register as a Tier 2 sex offender under federal law. But he got his comeback fights. He beat Peter McNeely and Buster Mathis Jr. So it was amazing and all of that. Anyway, yeah. Tyson would gain the WBC belt from Frank Bruno. And it was a big win. Lennox Lewis was supposed to fight Mike Tyson for the belt. 96. It would have been Lewis's highest fight purse to date. But Lewis then was given $4 million to step aside and let Tyson fight Bruce Seldon and all that. With the intention that if Tyson won, it would be Tyson Lewis next. Tyson won the WBA belt from Bruce Seldon. And Seldon was criticized for collapsing to Tyson's punches, which weren't that great. In fact, if I remember correctly, there was a Simpsons comic book story when Homer becomes a wrestler and fights the pummeler or something like that, the Viking pummeler, for a championship. That Burns tells the guy who he says will take the dive and let Homer win the championship, saying that we don't want another Tyson Seldon fight. Anyway, Tyson decided to face Holyfield for the WBA belt. All that. So anyway, Holyfield and Tyson finally would fight after Tyson was in jail for his rape thing. Tyson got TKO'd in the 11th round. It was amazing. But Holyfield had frequent headbutts during the bout. In the rematch, that would be huge, because on June 20th, 1997, Tyson and Holyfield would fight again. Halpern was supposed to be the referee and stepped aside for Mills Lane. Yes, Mills Lane would soon become a judge on daytime TV. Anyway, Tyson was given $30 million and Holyfield $35 million easily. So anyway, the fight was stopped at the end of the 3rd round thanks to Tyson biting both Holyfield's ears and taking a chunk out of one of them. Tyson said he did it because of Holyfield's headbutts. But yeah, you just tell the referee that. And Mills Lane probably would have given Holyfield a warning or disqualified him when it happened. But Tyson bit his ear. It was just terrible and all that. Tyson Holyfield 2 was the first heavyweight title fight in 50 years at that time to end in a disqualification. I think it was the last one. But anyway, Tyson lost his purse and all that. However, he did pay $3 million. He lost $3 million of his $30 million. His boxing license was rescinded by the Nevada State Commission. So anyway, the problem was that in '98 they gave him back the Nevada belt. Tyson spent time away from boxing and actually was part of WrestleMania 14 as the enforcer for the main event between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And Stone Cold, sorry. So Shawn Michaels was the champion but lost to Stone Cold. Tyson was a member of D-Generation X. However, Tyson basically screwed Michaels over and punched Michaels out at the end of the match. Shawn Michaels would not fight in the WWE for 4 years. So anyway, Tyson came back to the ring and would face Francois Bova from South Africa. Anyway, Tyson did his job. And he was actually sentenced to a year. February '99, he was sentenced to a year's imprisonment because of some incidents. He would serve 9 months. Anyway, he would face Lou Safrisi in Scotland, winning the first round 38 seconds. And of course, we can't forget Tyson's post-fight interview, trying to destroy Lennox Lewis, saying, "I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious, the most ruthless champion there has ever been. There's no one who can stop me. Lennox is the conqueror? No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anyone as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their cloth. There is no one who can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah." So anyway, after the fight, he would fight Andrew Gulata. And Gulata said he couldn't do it. He couldn't fight because he thought he had a concussion, but his trainer, Lou Douglas, said that he was faking it. Nope, Gulata had a broken cheekbone concussion and neck injury. But it was a no contest because Tyson tested positive for marijuana in a post-fight urine test. Mike Tyson would face Lennox Lewis finally in 2002. Lennox Lewis had all the belts at the time, the lineal belts and everything else. So anyway, it was amazing all that. In a press conference in 2002, Lennox and Mike would fight heavily. So the fight happened in Memphis. Tyson unfortunately lost in the 8th round, but he was respectful of the fight and praised Lewis on his victory. Unfortunately, bankruptcy and retirement would ruin him all that. Tyson was trying to go into K1 to fight Bob Sapp, but unfortunately, because of his previous convictions, Japan was not too happy about it and basically said that, you know, your history's bad. Tyson was filed for bankruptcy because even though he earned $30 million for his fights and $300 million during his career, he was in debt by $23 million. Tyson basically lost his passion by 2007. Tyson would fight Roy Jones Jr. for charity in 2020. It was declared a draw. 3 former boxers were the judges: Chad Dawson, Christy Martin, and Vinny Pezeza. So anyway, yeah. But his legacy was just a lot. He was great and all that. I know Mike Tyson has had some issues in boxing and in wrestling, but, you know, he did what he did. Well, Tyson has been married 3 times and has 7 children. One of them ended up being deceased. Tyson does include his second wife's oldest daughter as one of his own. So his first marriage was to Robin Gibbons, but unfortunately there was very much tumultuous with violent spousal abuse and mental instability. Gibbons called Tyson manic depressive on national TV on 2020 with Barbara Walters, and Tyson had a common expression. So anyway, yeah, that was terrible. Tyson's second marriage was to Monica Turner, who was a pediatric resident at Georgetown Medical Center. Unfortunately, Tyson got divorced from Turner because he committed adultery during their 5-year marriage. All that. Their their two children, Amir and Ramsey. Well, Ramsey's now non-binary. Unfortunately, Tyson's 4-year-old daughter, Exodus, died in 2009 after being tangled in a cord dangling from an exercise treadmill. Miguel tried to untie her, but it didn't work out. She died from her injuries. 11 days later, Tyson married longtime girlfriend Kiki Spicer, having 2 children, Milan and Morocco. Tyson did some stuff and all that. He was vegan for 4 years, but not anymore. Anyway, Tyson was satired in The Simpsons as Frederick Tatum. All that. It was part of Mike Tyson Mysteries on Adult Swim, voicing himself and all that. Some documentaries and all that. So yeah, Mike Tyson did his job. He was 56-2 in his boxing career, but he lost his last 2 fights to Danny Williams and Kevin McBride. Kind of awkward, don't you think? So yeah, he had prison problems and all that, but he's still the champion and all of that. He's always going to be the greatest champion, heavyweight boxing champion. A lot of people said, "Oh, it's Joe Frazier or Muhammad Ali or even Jack Dempsey." I wouldn't argue with them. I'm just saying Mike Tyson, in his prime, before the rape trial that ruined him, was just that damn good. He had an off night against his name escapes me. He had an off night against Buster Douglas. I mean, it was Tyson's fault. He didn't take the fight seriously enough. But you know what? Mike Tyson's still Mike Tyson for all the right reasons. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.